Today I thought I'd surprise Tamara by setting up her next aquarium. And not only just set it up, but I'm going to film it using her camera, then I'm going to edit it for her and give her the video. Oh, also, we're going to get her reaction at the end of this video to see if she's okay with any of this. The aquarium in question is a 4-foot long, 16-inch wide, 16-inch tall acrylic aquarium I built a little while ago. But this aquarium really upsets me, and let me explain how all this started. About 2 months ago, I configured that piece of manzanita contraption. If you didn't look closely, it's actually a bunch of pieces of manzanita, just sticks basically, held together with black zip ties. I made this because she was kind of going nowheres with this tank and I wanted to give her a push. Again, this was 2 months ago. I asked her today, I was like, why does it take you so long to set up your fish tanks? You don't lack supplies or availability of things? Like, what's holding you back? And she's like, honestly, I really just prefer when you set them up and I get to take care of them and or kind of get to tinker with them. And I thought to myself, yeah, I guess I understand that, but one of the best parts for me is I like to set up the fish tanks. I like to do all of it. Every ounce of all of it is something I favor, and I assume and or at least project that onto you as well. Now, if we keep that in mind, if she really likes me kind of doing this stuff for her and she gets to come down here, she spends a lot of time down here just like kind of playing around, doing her cleanings and kind of tinkering around with the tanks and enjoying them. I thought to myself, well, I kind of did this for her as well and a lot of other tanks. This was one of my tanks at one point, kind of did this. I give her an idea and she kind of goes from there, but with this tank, I want to give her a really cool, fully planted tank, and I think we already know what we're going to do for stocking. Oh, my bad. For the people that don't like to see when I'm on Tamara's channel, because this is Tamara's channel and not the King of DIY's channel. Hi, everybody. I'm Tamara, and welcome back to another day with T. Satisfied? Can we surprise her now? The goal is simple. We're going to have to drain some of the water, move out all the fish, take out this piece of wood, really siphon it because that's just moss and snails and detritus, a few blocks of biological media. It's basically become a bit of a holding tank. The angels are going to go into a temporary 15-gallon, whereas the bushy-nosed plecos, we're going to put them in her 180-gallon aquarium because they would be perfect for it, and a nice little addition, at least to get it started with adding fish to it. From there, we're going to take this wood and we're going to attach some weeping willow moss or weeping moss. And we're going to try to focus on the areas where it has the zip ties. And technically, we only kind of got to do it down here, here, and here. So hopefully we've got enough and it's actually going to look good. We're also going to focus the scape more centrally focused. The way I see this one is simple. We're going to center this out, and this is not what I created. She shoved it in there, floated it, ruined it a little bit, so I have to fix the configuration. Some of the branches are supposed to fill out the tank a little bit more. I made this and created this to specifically be 47 inches long, 15 inches wide, and 15 inches tall. And I already told you the dimensions of this tank, so you know it was made specifically for this. And now it's kind of like a little wobbly, and she said, well, when I was kind of putting it in, it kind of fell apart, and I guess she probably didn't remember how it was originally. Underneath of it, for substrate, we're going to use some Amazonia aqua soil. This was for the 700, but I already had enough, so we got that. This type of white substrate. We have some dragonstone, and the only plant that we have that I got from Aquascaping was weeping moss. This stuff here, and it was extra from one of my builds, so we're going to have to take a little bit from here. And then for the main feature plants that I want for her to have is going to be incredibly dangerous for me to go get. So for any King of DIY fans out there that know what I'm talking about, let me know in the comment section below what you think I'm talking about right now. Also, although this is like a special thing for Tamara and surprising her, and if you wish you had somebody you could do this for, give this video a thumbs up right now. First things first, let's get this tank drained a little bit. So, you might be asking, like, where's Tamara in all of this? How are you going to surprise her? Doesn't she live there? Isn't she like your wife? Use my little Timu pump to drain this. I said, I'm doing an update on the flower horn and their progression, so don't come downstairs. It's going to take me a while, approximately an hour. So we have 1 hour to do this. And now that you guys know, I'm technically not doing an update on the progression, but I might as well show you. The parents are in with a few little fry. We left like a nice little handful, but the remainder actually went down here, and we added them with the other bigger ones. Now the bigger ones demolished them, ate them, which was fine. I'm totally fine with that. Let the strongest survive. But when it comes to flower horn breeding and selection, this type of thing is incredibly common. And let me explain. Because I actually read comments on one of her last videos where she added the little fry with the big fry, and somebody, and a few people actually, I responded to one of you, said, oh geez, you know, do you cringe when they did that? They shouldn't have done that. Here's how flower horn breeding works. You guys know that some flower horn be $100, $150, $300. Does that mean if they have 100 babies, or let's say 500 babies, all 500 are worth $300? No. There's a selection process, a grooming process, and then the culling process. When it comes to flower horn, eventually they need individual aquariums. I do not have 500 40-gallon tanks to breed these guys out. I thought, since this was more so of an accidental, purposeful, let's see what happens type of breeding, and then it happened, I'll raise 10 to 20. Now, when it comes to the flower horn, we're looking for incredibly specific traits, and if it doesn't have that, there is the culling process, especially when it comes to like other fish like discus. Not only are they only breeding in smaller numbers, but if it has clamped fins or deformed body shape or something, it's culled. And if you don't know what culling is, give yourself a little bit more time in the hobby. It's a part of breeding that, while this fish isn't suited for sale, we don't want to water the hobby down with a bunch of undesirable fish. As horrible as it sounds, it happens not just with me, with literally every fish breeding process on the planet, but more specifically with flower horn, because they demand their own individual tank eventually. So you can only have, out of maybe 500 babies, you'd be lucky to get 10 really, really good ones that demand that high dollar price. But flower horns are expensive for a number of reasons, and one of them is because how difficult the breeding process is and how little actually show those types of traits. Anyways, back to this build. Oh, and I should also add, Tamara's only been keeping fish for like a year, although she's with me. Most of the stuff, a lot of the stuff she does, if you think she's making a bad decision, it's curated by me. A lot of it all goes through me. I'm not going to let her fish pass away or get sick or bad things happen. I'm not going to let her make those types of mistakes, because I could say, well, if you do that, this will happen. And that's one of the benefits of, I guess, being married to the king of DIY, outside of, hey, I could do all this for you too. And while she really enjoys keeping fish and maintaining, and of course, making videos for you guys, it is certainly a team effort. Until we come to this side and the gallery. Didn't really think I'd have to come on here and defend my wife, guys. Imagine being in the hobby 1 year and this type of pressure is on you. Cut her a break, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully there's no plecos on this. One way to find out is drop it on the floor. See how loose some of this is? It was never like that before. It was like really snug. This branch is supposed to come, oh, there you go. This branch is supposed to come up like that. I might have to readjust this in the tank as opposed to outside of it. I'm starting to understand why she had some, you know, technical issues with it, and I think a lot of it's because, well, she had to try to maneuver it into the tank. I can see like some of these zip ties are loose here. I can tighten them, but I think I'm going to figure it out once it's in the tank. So let's move some of these fish. The angels are going to go in that 15 for now. And this is no longer going to be a holding tank. The best part about angelfish is, regardless of, not the best part, but one of the things I appreciate about them is, regardless of how big they get, or what size tank they're in, they're always really easy to catch. The bushy nose are gonna go in here. So she had 7, and I found all 7 and moved them here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a couple others darted back there. But she bred these albini bushy nose, and I thought it'd be really cool to add them in here. This tank definitely needs a trimming and some moss and whatnot added to the log here. But what I told her was, she's got some moss here, but it's a different color and shape than this moss. And I think that she should drain the tank down to here, trim that moss up a bit, and place it strategically on here. So it's kind of the same color. And it'll look a lot better. What do you guys think? I think I'm right. It's going to look really good. Right now it's in the grow out stage, so she's got to do some trimming and shaping. She might even add rocks, more wood and whatnot. But right now the focus on get the plants to grow and have a lot of them. Tank is clean and ready to go. First thing we're going to do is add in this aqua soil. All of it. She's not going to need a tremendous amount because the goal isn't necessarily to have the entire tank planted. We want lots of plants around the wood, but when it comes to the outer areas, kind of white sand. That might be perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I think we should put in the sand next. The downside with dealing with big bags of sand is they're big bags of sand. Do it. The sand is just to kind of hide that soil. We might have a few pieces of soil kind of poke its ugly face up, but we can hide that later. Now the wood's going to look so much more prominent. We might need some more water in here though. Look at that. Isn't that incredible? It fills up the whole tank. Well, the lighting's being dramatic right now, but let's just bring it over here. I don't have anywhere to place it right now. So, the next thing I'm thinking, some dragonstone. So now what I'm thinking here is there should be like an emphasis on the hardscape with plants growing behind it. So I think what I might do is try to replicate kind of sorta what the wood's already doing, which is poking out everywhere. And then once this is filled, perhaps with plants and whatnot, it could look relatively good. I had to rinse these off first though, because they were like really nasty feeling. Really dirty. So you got to kind of picture where the plants are going to go and how it's actually going to look overall. And that can be difficult at times, I suspect, but for myself, I find that as I'm doing this, I kind of try to do what might look natural, not necessarily methodically placed. It can't be symmetrical. Symmetrical is usually the game changer in scapes a lot of the times, but I think that right there, and then filled in with plants. Now I know that like the rocks aren't touching or anything like that, but you also have to remember the plants are going to be in between them. I want to do tall plants in the back, I want to do moss on the logs, and then I want to do big plants in front. And that's our next challenge. Where are we going to get all these plants when all we have is 2 cups of moss? Weeping moss, my favorite moss by the way, from Aquascaping. I think the first thing we're going to do though is apply the moss. We're going to do it in a few locations, but strategically placed. I'd like to see it on this elbow, and down there. Maybe some up here, Oh geez, but if I do this section, maybe there should be some over here, but I also wouldn't mind seeing a little bit on rock. We've got a few different types of glue here. This is what I typically use. It's a super glue. And then I have other aquarium safe glue. This one actually came from Aqua Decor, and this one is like coral and plants. In my opinion, it's all the same. I didn't mean to look scary. I'm just trying to show the glue. Anyways, since moss doesn't need a substrate and actually does really well on wood and rocks, we'll just take a little bit of super glue. We're going to put it on the places that we kind of want to hide a few things. Now this isn't going to come out like a mat, it's more like trimmings. So we'll have to, it's not going to look good at first, at all. And what I'm doing here is putting a little bit on the straps and a little bit on the wood. See right here. Then taking a little bit of moss and putting it in place. Now if you plan to keep your aquarium relatively empty during this process, and or maybe not empty but dry for a little while you do other plants, you should take a spray bottle and kind of spray these plants just to keep them wet. When I open a new cup of plants, I always smell it. You'll know if your plants are rotted. Ooh, there's another spot. Sometimes taking a step back, you can kind of get a good idea of like where plants should go. A few little tufts. I definitely feel like I've emphasized the moss over here, so I'm going to go over here a little bit and kind of give these branches a nice little coating of this moss. We've now got all of the places that the twist ties or the zip ties were on, and then some on the rocks a little bit. Where's the other spot? I'm thinking kind of maybe up on this corner is the last spot. This corner and maybe that corner. Let's see if we can make it. Let's see if we can make it go that far. All that simply means is we won't be able to use a lot of moss on each one. But this is weeping moss, so it doesn't really grow up. It grows up and then over, like it weeps. The fronds of it will fall down. So, being on these areas, well, her battery died while I was doing that, but let's bring this forward a little bit. Now we're going to get a better idea of what's really going on here. I think the moss is relatively evenly spaced. We do have, so this is a weeping moss. I don't know if the camera picked that up earlier, but the camera did die. We put it in all the places of the zip ties besides this corner here, but there's going to be a big plant that I had planned right for here. The moss here and here, just dabs of it. The way this weeping moss grows is it doesn't grow up like every other moss, like this would be like a Java moss. That's definitely Java moss. It's going to be thicker and grow out and fall down. So imagine that. And one of the benefits to like aquascaping is not only having an end goal and kind of like an overall plan and vision, but also a really good idea of how the plants are going to grow long term. Now the reason I like to put a sand cap on first and to plant in wet soil, so first and foremost I like to put a sand cap on because sometimes these aqua soils that are a humate base have oxygen pockets which cause them to float, but if we put a denser sand on top of it, which kind of finishes off the look, it weighs it down. I also prefer to plant in a wet substrate because the plants hold better and they don't come popping up after the fact. So that's kind of why I do that. I'm going to fill this halfway though. As this is filling, we're going to steal some plants from her 180, and then we're going to get the main plants. I want these so they'll grow nice and lush in the back. Hopefully that's enough. I think that's all we should do. She's gonna get really mad. Those were easy to get. Moss was easy to get. What we're about to do next is really hard. Guess where we're going? I think many of you guys already guessed this. I'm gonna give Tamara some of my prized crypts, cryptocorin species. The darker ones, maybe some lighter ones, but I did have my eye on a few that can't go anywhere. I love how this is, truly blossoming in here. I think I'm going to grab a couple really, really big ones right from here. In the piranha tank. Don't bite me, piranhas. Thank you. Okay, we gotta get some from somewhere else. That made a really big dent. Shoot. Do you guys mind going over there so I can get some different colors? I wonder if this would be enough. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. No. I need another big clump. 2, 3, 4. It's not going to work. It's only like 4 plants. Oh boy. Shoot. Okay. I gotta find like a lighter colored one. You know what? Screw it. She's getting my prized plant. It's my wife. Not even my prized plant. I just really, really like its location. Watch out, piranhas. I'm coming in. Look at the root structure. Now it looks stupid there. Alright, what else? What else does my wife get? Let me see. Damn it. Whatever you are, you're coming with me. I can't see, so let me know if a prawn is coming close. Alright. I feel like this should get her a good start. So the first plant we're going to put in here is a stem plant. And the only way these guys propagate is if you trim them when they grow up. They only grow up. So once they grow up towards the surface or to the light, you can cut them. And whatever you cut off, you replant that. And you keep doing that over and over and over again until you get like whatever you're trying to accomplish. I'm not a huge fan of stem plants because it means you've got to constantly maintain. But it's Tamara's favorite. She loves to kind of tinker. Well, so do I, but I don't want to keep doing this. I've done it a few times, and I personally find this to be relatively annoying. However, knowing my wife, she's going to enjoy needing to maintain and make her tank look even better than it already does. I like to take these and shove them all the way down till I feel the bottom of the tank. And eventually these are going to shoot off some roots and look amazing. She's going to like this tank. She's going to like it a lot. Hopefully I have enough plants to give her enough of a wow factor, but we'll see. The goal is for most of these plants to kind of almost hide the center of the wood, and the wood's supposed to kind of branch out from the plants. I think you guys probably gathered that though. She saw me getting the piranha plants coming in the back in the house with them, and she's like, "Oh, what's that for?" I was like, "Oh, Tyrese, I'm planting his tank." She's like, "Oh, let me know when it's done." Okay. Oh, this will look good. This will look good. Oh, a lot of people also say to take off the fronds from the bottom. I just let them die. It's food for itself. Let it eat itself. Now when it comes to these crypts, we're going to trim off most of their roots to essentially inspire new growth, but it's really difficult to plant when they actually do have a tremendous amount of roots. So we'll just cut off probably 80% of it, leaving about an inch or two of roots below it. Trust me, these are going to bounce back. No problem. Ooh, bonus plant. If you don't have tongs, you can use your hands. I used to, but I find when you're planting a lot of plants, it's faster if you just, technically faster if you use tongs. A little bit of hair algae on these, so hopefully that doesn't pose a long-term issue for her. These will self-propagate, so they'll send off runners, so you never have to like prune them or do anything. They'll just do it on their own. And the goal with these is just plant these between the rocks. These need to fill out those gaps and kind of hide the rocks, make them look like they're just kind of jutting out. How deep you plant them is debatable. I just don't like the leaves to be underground, or, well, this tank's not going to be much to look at first. So the tank is complete, it's filled up. Let's take an overview. It looks absolutely glorious. This is going to be your best aquarium. So let's start with the moss. The moss, of course, like we talked about, is a weeping moss. It's going to grow and kind of like droop over the wood. It's going to look really good. The Bacopa in the back, that's a stem plant. That's going to be her backdrop. She's going to have a green backdrop. All of this Cryptocorin is going to do exactly what it did in the Piranha tank, except we have a really big mother plant in here, so we know how tall it's going to grow. And all of this is going to get lush. However, like I said, Tamara likes to tinker and come play around with her tanks and be involved. She would love to have this. Start out with this, but like mother it and take care of it and make sure everything's okay. So she's going to have to trim plants and replant them and figure things out. But as the Cryptocorin grows, it's going to hide all of these silly looking jagged rocks that obviously don't look that great. However, once those Cryptocorins do grow in, you'll just see juts of the rocks coming out, and then this glorious wood structure. I think this tank is going to be absolutely phenomenal, but I think we should also see Tamara's response. Just texted her to come down. She's coming. Hello. Come on, I made you something.
Something for me? Ooh.
Since you wouldn't set it up, I did it for you. It's only been a couple of months. Do you like it?
Yeah.
So, it's going to allow for a tremendous amount of tinkering, because I know you like to have fully set up tanks and then you just want to come down and play with them and make them beautiful and better. So the Cryptocorin, you see this big tall one? That's technically like a mother plant. That's as big as it's going to get. But it had a bunch of like smaller ones.
Okay.
So they're all planted in the front. They're all going to get lush and big in the front. And I know that the rocks kind of look jagged and randomly placed. But eventually, once the plants grow in, you're just going to see the tips of the rocks kind of pointing out. It's going to look super cool.
Yeah.
This is weeping moss. And we've got it in a number of places, even up here. I know that you like it above the water surface a little bit as well. This moss grows down. So it's going to weep. And then behind we have that Bacopa or whatever it's called. That's where you get the tinker. Your background for this tank needs to be green. And you'll trim it and replant it because that's a stem plant. But everything else is hands off. What I think you should do for stocking is probably just a handful of cardinals because, well, you've experienced what?
A handful left.
You've experienced what it's like for me to have cardinals. For me, cardinal tetras are hit or miss. Sometimes I can keep them, very rarely, and sometimes I don't. And if you can't survive in my water, I guess I'm not going to keep you because I'd rather keep you in consistent water parameters than chasing the ideal, as I've taught the internet for many, many years. And cardinal tetras are just not a fish on my list. So out of the 200 that we got, regardless of what I tried, unfortunately, only maybe 20 or 30 made it out of 200. Let that set in. Yeah, it really sucked, but some people can keep cardinal tetras and some can't. It's just a fact of life. I think, like, a lot of people are like, ooh, discus are hard, stingrays are hard. And a lot of the fish that I have, like, oh, I could never keep that. And then cardinal tetras enter the chat. And I think a lot of it doesn't come down to necessary experience, but your water parameters, your localities, the chemistry makeup of your water. But I think that we should put, once this starts growing in, your cardinal tetras into this tank. Of what's left, because you guys will remember we had 200. I paid for 200, and we've got a handful left. We can't put them in the... Oh, what type of disease do they actually have? They might have something different than I thought. Look at his tail. Oh, that might be something else. This is why you quarantine. Oh. See his tail? That is not.
It's like rotting off.
Yeah, it's a specific disease. We rarely ever experience it in the hobby, but that's it. He's got to come out. He's contagious. Oh boy. Anyways.
And that's there.
What is it called? I know once I start editing this and uploading it, and I'll figure out the disease name. But that's not ick. It's not bacterial infection. That's probably what wiped them all out so quickly. Shoot. And welcome to Canada. We don't have medications to treat.
I put a damper on today's video.
Tank is cool though. So I decided I'd not only set this tank up for you, but obviously I have your camera, and I'm going to film this and edit it and set this up, and then upload it to my channel because I did all the work.
Truly. It's what I want.
What do you think? Do you like it?
This is what I want.
Is this what you thought it was going to be like?
I am the type of... I know you guys want me to set up my own tanks, but I don't want that. Why do you want that for me if I don't want that for me?
Well, you probably never told them.
I'm telling you now.
She likes for me to set up her tanks, and then she gets
and then
to come
I just get to act like
enjoy them.
It's
and tinker with them
mine.
and play with them and feed them and water change and take videos and fun pictures. And I think you'll really like this tank because of the stem plants in the back. This will definitely be hands-on. Once these plants grow up quite a bit, maybe even to the surface, you're going to have to trim them in half and replant. So it's not like you won't have your your hands wet. I think it's a cool tank.
I like it.
I like it too.
I like it a lot.
And if you guys liked it, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. What is that?
Thank you, by
Calamari?
the
Calamari? No, that was... It could just be a...
Calamari, isn't that octopus when people eat?
I'm not saying it right. Comments will correct me. Could just be a severe bacterial infection. They are wild caught. We did salt treatment. We did a bunch of other different things that we could that were more natural, higher temperatures, and we did save some, and they'll be healthy. But there's not enough for the 180 and or the piranha tank, which I'm leaning towards Danios anyways. Giant Danios in the piranha tank, hyperactive, very big, get to a few inches. I know a girl on in a Facebook group, I think it's called Piranha Fury or something. I can't even remember the name of the group, but she has hers with Danios. It's working for her. It might not work for me. I was thinking tiger barbs. Let me know what you guys think. But if you like this video and you never want to see me on this channel again, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already. And would you like to close the video out for all the work you did?
Thank you for setting up yet another one of my tanks so that I don't have to get my arms wet. I thought it was the floating plants that I didn't like, but I can deal with the trimming and that's it.
I meant like say like and subscribe and
like the video.
Trying to get to
subscribe,
road to 20K.
And yeah,
it has to happen this month.
I tried to get there before the new year, and obviously that hasn't happened, but we still have time before the next new year.
No, honestly, if you hate her, just say it in the comments.
You know what? If you could, to help me out, before you go to bed, just click on one of my playlists and let it play overnight on your Wi-Fi.
Just mute it.
And I would just love that. If you could do that. If you could do one thing,
Yeah.
that would be it. If I could have one wish.
Because her zero income earning channel is costing me a lot. Can we make $50?